The stars looked different now. Captain Hyun-woo stood on the bridge of the horizon and watched the viewing screen. His ship had just done something impossible. They had traveled faster than light. They had crossed 10 light years in just 3 days. "Captain, we are getting a signal," said the communications officer. Her hands moved quickly across her station. "It is not from Earth." Hyun-woo felt his heart beat faster. "Put it on screen." The image that appeared was not human. The creature had blue skin and 4 eyes. It wore some kind of uniform. When it spoke, the computer translated its words into Korean. "Unknown vessel, you have entered Galactic Council space. State your origin and purpose." Hyun-woo stood straight. This was the moment humanity had wondered about for centuries. "This is Captain Hyun-woo of Earth. We are on a mission of exploration. We come in peace." The alien was quiet for a moment. Then it said, "Earth? We have records of your world. You are the ones from the Death World. Follow our ship. Do not deviate from the course." The word Death World confused Hyun-woo, but he gave the order to follow. 2 hours later, they arrived at a massive space station. It was bigger than any city on Earth. Hundreds of different ships floated near it. 3 months later, Ambassador Yuna arrived at the same station. She had been chosen to represent all of humanity. She was smart and spoke 7 languages. But nothing prepared her for what she saw when she entered the council chamber. The room was enormous. 47 different alien species sat in seats arranged in a circle. Some had fur. Some had scales. Some looked almost human, but not quite. At the center sat Director Vexthar, a tall being with silver skin and no mouth. He communicated through a device attached to his chest. "Welcome, human," Vexthar said through his device. "You are here to request membership in the Galactic Council. We have reviewed your world. We have reviewed your history. We have made our decision." Yuna felt nervous, but she kept her voice steady. "We are honored to be here. Humanity wishes to join the galactic community. We have much to offer and much to learn." A different alien stood up. It looked like a large insect with too many legs. "Your world is classified as Class 9 on the Death World scale, the highest classification. How did your species even survive?" Yuna did not understand. "Death World? I do not know what that means," Vexthar explained. "Your planet is extraordinarily dangerous. Your gravity is 40% higher than the galactic standard. Your atmosphere has high oxygen levels that would poison most species. Your world has deadly viruses, bacteria, and parasites. You have predators that can kill with ease. You have natural disasters that destroy entire regions. Your sun emits dangerous radiation, and yet you not only survived, you thrived." Another alien spoke, this one with green scales and multiple arms. "Your species is also violent. Your history is filled with wars. You have killed billions of your own kind." Yuna felt anger rise in her chest, but she controlled it. "Yes, we have fought wars. Yes, we have made terrible mistakes, but we have also created great beauty. We have art and music. We have science and medicine. We have learned to work together. The last 50 years have been the most peaceful in our history." "Peaceful by your standards," said the insect alien. "But those standards are not ours." Vexthar raised one long finger. "The vote will now begin. All those in favor of granting humanity full membership, indicate now." Yuna watched as lights appeared above only 7 seats out of 47. Her heart sank. "The motion fails," Vexthar said. "Humanity is hereby granted observer status only. You may not colonize other worlds. You may not engage in free trade. You may not access our advanced technologies. You will remain in your solar system until the Council decides you are ready." Yuna could not believe what she was hearing. "You are putting us in a cage? After we came here in peace? This is wrong. This is for the safety of all species," Vexthar replied calmly. "Your kind is too dangerous. We have seen what Death World species can do when given freedom. The last one destroyed 3 civilizations before we stopped them. We will not make that mistake again. We are not them," Yuna shouted. Several aliens moved away from her, clearly afraid. "We are different. Give us a chance to prove it." "The decision is final," Vexthar said. "You will return to your Earth. A monitoring fleet will be stationed at the edge of your solar system. If you attempt to leave, you will be stopped. That is all." Back on Earth, Dr. Taemin sat in his lab reading the reports from the Council. He was a scientist who studied alien life. The information he was reading shocked him. "These species," he said to his assistant, "they are weak. Look at this. The average alien can lift only 20 kilograms. A human child can lift more. Their immune systems cannot handle even basic Earth bacteria. They have almost no ability to heal from injuries. But they have advanced technology, his assistant said. Yes, but technology is not everything, Taemin replied. He pulled up more data. Their homeworlds have almost no predators, no diseases. Perfect weather. They evolved in paradise. They have never had to fight to survive. He leaned back in his chair. They are not superior to us. They are afraid of us because they know we are stronger. That is why they caged us. Meanwhile, Captain Hyunwoo was meeting with military leaders. One of them, Admiral Dong Jun, slammed his fist on the table. They insult us. They treat us like animals in a zoo. What can we do? Another officer asked. They have thousands of ships. They have weapons we cannot imagine. Dong Jun smiled coldly. Then we learn. We build. We prepare. If they want to keep us in a cage, fine. But cages can be broken. Hyunwoo felt torn. He was a man of peace, but he also understood pride. We should try diplomacy first. Give Yuna time to work. Diplomacy with those who fear you never works, Dong Jun said. But I will wait. For now. Back on the space station, Yuna received a strange message on her personal device. It had no sender information. It said only, they fear you because they know what you can become. The Council has been watching your world for 200 years. They kept you in the dark on purpose. There are others who want change. Wait for contact. Yuna deleted the message immediately. But she remembered every word. Someone on the Council was on humanity's side, or someone wanted to use humanity for their own purposes. Either way, it meant the situation was more complicated than it appeared. She looked out at the stars and thought about Earth, about the 7 billion people waiting for good news. She had failed them, but maybe this was not the end. Maybe it was just the beginning. On Earth, in a secret military facility, engineers were already taking apart the faster-than-light drive. They were learning how it worked. They were finding ways to make it better. Humanity had been told to stay in their cage, but humans had never been good at following rules they did not agree with. The Council thought they were protecting the galaxy. They thought they were keeping everyone safe. They did not understand the most important thing about humans. The more you tried to hold them down, the harder they fought to rise up. This was not the first time humanity had faced impossible odds. It would not be the last. And if history taught anything, it was this. Never bet against humans when their freedom was at stake. 5 years had passed since the Council rejected humanity. 5 long years of being watched and contained. But those 5 years had not been wasted. Admiral Dong Jun walked through the hidden shipyard on the far side of the moon. Row after row of warships floated in the darkness. These were not like the horizon. These were weapons of war. Fast, deadly, and invisible to Council sensors. How many do we have now? He asked the woman walking beside him. Engineer Bora checked her tablet. 147 combat ready. Another 30 in final construction. The stealth coding works perfectly. Council patrols pass within 10 kilometers and detect nothing. Dong Jun smiled. It was not a kind smile. Good, how are the weapons? Beyond expectations, Bora said with pride. We studied every Council ship we could scan. Their shields are designed for energy weapons. Our kinetic railguns punch right through them. And our missiles use quantum targeting. They cannot be jammed. Excellent work, Dong Jun said. He looked at the ships and thought about the future. The Council believed humanity was still primitive. They were wrong. In another secret facility on Earth, scientist So Jin was solving a different problem. Communication. The Council could intercept any normal radio signal. So she had invented something new. Show me, said her supervisor. So Jin activated her device. Quantum entanglement communication. 2 particles linked at the quantum level. Whatever happens to one happens to the other instantly, no matter the distance. No signal to intercept, no delay. Perfect security. Her supervisor looked amazed. How many can you make? We can put them on every ship, every base, every important location, Sojin said. The Council will never hear us coming. Meanwhile, Ambassador Yuna still worked at the Galactic Council station. She attended every meeting. She proposed treaties. She tried to negotiate better terms, and every time she was rejected or ignored, but she was not really there to negotiate. She was there to watch, to listen, and to learn. She learned which species were cruel and which were kind. She learned which ones secretly disagreed with the Council's decisions. She learned about the Council's military strength and their weaknesses. One day she met with an alien named Krathax. He was the Council's enforcer for the Sol system. His job was to make sure humanity obeyed the rules. "Your people have been very quiet," Krethax said. His species looked like large reptiles with armor-plated skin. "Too quiet," Una kept her face calm. "We are obeying the Council's wishes. We stay in our solar system. We build nothing that threatens anyone." "Perhaps," Krethax said, his eyes narrowing. "But I do not trust humans. You are clever. Too clever. I will be watching closely." "Watch all you want," Una said with a smile. "You will see only what we want you to see." That night, Krethax ordered a surprise inspection. His ships appeared in Earth orbit with no warning. Council troops demanded access to all military facilities. In the hidden command center, Admiral Dong Jun watched the Council troops on camera. "Do they suspect?" Captain Hyunwoo, who now commanded Earth's defense fleet, shook his head. "They are looking at our old facilities, the ones we want them to find. The real shipyards are hidden perfectly. As long as everyone stays calm, we will be fine." The inspection took 3 days. Council troops went everywhere they were allowed to go. They found exactly 30 Earth warships, all of them old and barely functional. "This is your entire fleet?" Krethax asked with disdain. "Pathetic. You truly are a primitive species." Dongjun, who was forced to give the tour, nodded humbly. "We do our best with what we have. The Council does not allow us access to better technology." "For good reason," Krethax said. "Be grateful we allow you this much." After the Council ships left, Dongjun laughed for the first time in months. "Fools. They saw 30 ships and believed that was all we had." On Mars, human colonists worked in secret underground cities. On Europa, research bases studied weapons and tactics. On Titan, fuel refineries processed resources for the growing fleet. Everything was hidden beneath the surface where Council satellites could not see. Dr. Taman had spent 5 years studying every piece of alien biology he could obtain. His findings were classified at the highest level. He presented them to a room full of military leaders. "Gentlemen, ladies," he began, "I have good news and bad news. The bad news is that Council technology is more advanced than ours. The good news is that Council biology is far inferior." He showed images on the screen. An average Council species member is fragile. Their bones break easily. Their muscles are weak. They cannot survive in high gravity, extreme temperatures, or toxic environments. Most of them will die from diseases that humans easily fight off. An officer raised his hand. "What does this mean for combat?" "It means," Taman said seriously, "that in close quarters 1 human marine is worth 10 alien soldiers. It means that planets where they struggle to breathe, we can fight easily. It means that we are the superior species physically. They only have technology. And technology can be stolen or destroyed." Admiral Dongjun stood up. "This information is encouraging. But we are not ready to fight, not yet. We need more time. Time we may not have," another officer said. "Our economy is suffering. The Council embargo prevents us from trading. People are getting angry." "Let them be angry," Dongjun said coldly. "Anger makes us stronger. Comfort makes us weak. We need that anger when the time comes." Back on the Council station, Yuna received another mysterious message. "Humanity's time approaches. When the Council acts, you must be ready. Not all of us want you caged. Some of us see the old order for what it is: tyranny. Wait for our signal." Before she could respond, the message deleted itself. Yuna sat in her room and thought carefully. Someone powerful was helping humanity, or setting a trap. Either way, something was coming. That something came sooner than anyone expected. A human survey ship, the Explorer, accidentally crossed into Council space while mapping an asteroid field. The ship's captain immediately turned around and headed home. They sent apologies on all frequencies. The Council response was immediate and brutal. A patrol ship fired without warning. The Explorer's shields failed. Their hull was breached. All 127 people on board died in minutes. When the news reached Earth, there was stunned silence. Then came the rage. Protests erupted in every major city. People demanded action. They demanded justice. They demanded war. Ambassador Yuna confronted Director Vexthar in the Council chamber. "You murdered innocent people." "They made a simple mistake. They were turning around." "They violated Council space," Vexthar said without emotion. "The law is clear. Deathworld species that cross the boundary are to be eliminated immediately. No exceptions. They were scientists," Yuna screamed. "They had families, children. You killed them for traveling a few kilometers in the wrong direction." The law exists for the safety of all, Vextar replied. Your kind is dangerous. We cannot allow even small violations. If we show weakness, other Deathworld species will think they can challenge us. Yuna looked around the chamber. Most aliens looked uncomfortable, but none spoke up. They were cowards. All of them. You are not gods, she said quietly. You are just bullies who fear anyone stronger. And one day your fear will destroy you. Is that a threat? Vextar asked. It is a promise, Yuna said and walked out. On Earth, Admiral Dongjun met with world leaders. The room was tense. Everyone knew what was being discussed. They killed our people, the president said. What do we do? Dongjun laid out the plans. We have 147 warships. The Council does not know about them. We have weapons they have never seen. We have soldiers ready to fight. The Council expects us to do nothing because we are weak and primitive. We show them how wrong they are. This is war, someone said nervously. We cannot win a war against the entire galaxy. We are not fighting the entire galaxy, Dongjun said. We are fighting the Council leadership, and I promise you we can win. The vote was taken. The decision was made. Earth would demand justice, and if justice was denied, Earth would take it by force. The age of humanity's imprisonment was ending. The age of war was beginning. The Council's ultimatum arrived 3 days after the Explorer incident. Director Vextar's face appeared on every screen across Earth. Humanity has 30 days to dismantle all military vessels. You will allow Council inspectors full access to all facilities. You will accept permanent monitoring stations in orbit. If you refuse, we will enforce compliance. This is not negotiable. Admiral Dongjun turned off the screen. Around him sat the entire military command. Captain Hyunwoo, Engineer Bo-Ra, Marine Colonel Mi-young, and dozens of others. All of them looked angry. They want us helpless, Mi-young said. She was a small woman. But everyone in the room knew she was deadly. They want us to surrender everything. We will not, Dongjun said simply. Send the response. Earth's reply was brief. No. The Council was shocked. No species had ever refused them before. Vextar immediately ordered a fleet to be assembled. 200 warships from 15 different Council species. It was a massive show of force. They gathered at the edge of the Sol system, their weapons ready. Admiral Vorthen commanded the Council fleet. He was from the powerful Kragnath Empire. His species had conquered 12 worlds. He did not expect any trouble from primitive humans. This will be quick, Vorthen told his officers. The humans have perhaps 30 small ships. We have 200. We will destroy their fleet in an hour, then bombard their military bases. By tomorrow, Earth will surrender. His fleet moved forward, engines blazing. They expected to see Earth's pathetic fleet waiting for them. Instead, they saw only empty space. A few small defense platforms. Nothing else. Where are their ships? Vorthen demanded. Find them. But the Council's sensors found nothing. The 30 human ships that had been visible were gone. Had they run away? Were they hiding on the far side of Earth? The Council fleet crossed the orbit of Mars, still nothing. They moved closer to Earth, confident and careless. That was when Commander Jinho gave the order. All ships decloak. Attack pattern Alpha. In an instant, space lit up with the energy signatures of 147 human warships. They had been there all along, invisible, surrounding the Council fleet. What? Vorthen shouted. That is impossible. Where did they come from? Jinho's stealth ship struck first. Their railguns fired solid metal slugs at incredible speed. The Council's energy shields, designed to stop lasers and plasma, were useless. The slugs tore through shields and armor like paper. 3 Council ships exploded in the first 10 seconds. 5 more were crippled and drifting. The Council fleet panicked and tried to form defensive positions. But the humans were too fast. Pilot Hei-wan led her fighter squadron against the Council's carrier ships. Her voice was calm on the radio. Target the flight decks. Do not let them launch their fighters. Her squadron dove through enemy fire like it was nothing. Human pilots had faster reflexes, better training, and no fear. Council pilots tried to intercept them and failed. Hei-wan's missiles found their targets. Explosions bloomed across 4 carrier ships. This is madness. Vorthen screamed. How are they doing this? They are primitives. Admiral Dongjun watched the battle from Earth. His command center tracked every ship, every shot. They expected us to be weak, he said with satisfaction. They forgot that weak and stupid are not the same thing. The battle turned into a slaughter. Human ships used tactics the Council had never seen. They fought in small groups, supporting each other, covering each other. They used the asteroid belt as cover. They fired and moved, never staying in one place. The Council fleet tried to use their superior firepower, but they could not hit what they could not track. Bora's stealth technology worked perfectly. Human ships would appear, fire, and vanish before the enemy could respond. After 1 hour, the Council had lost 40 ships. The humans had lost 3. Vorthen realized he was losing and tried to retreat. All ships fall back to regroup. But Jinho had predicted this. His ships were already positioned to block the escape route. Not today, he said, and ordered another attack. That was when Colonel Mi Young's Marines got their chance. Several Council ships were damaged but still functioning. Mi Young's battalion launched in boarding pods. They crossed space in armored shells, crashed through alien hulls, and poured into the enemy ships. The Council soldiers inside were not prepared for close combat. They had never needed to be. Most species in the galaxy settled disputes with words or at most with distant weapons. Hand-to-hand fighting was almost unknown. Human Marines, however, had trained for exactly this. Mi Young led her team through the corridors of a Council cruiser. They moved fast and struck hard. Alien soldiers fired their weapons wildly. Most of them missed. The few shots that hit human armor did almost nothing. "Control room, 3rd level," Mi Young shouted. Her team followed her up the ship's central corridor. They kicked down doors and cleared rooms with brutal efficiency. Alien crew members surrendered or ran. None of them wanted to fight these terrifying Deathworlders up close. Mi Young reached the control room. The ship's captain, a thin alien with purple skin, raised his hands. "We surrender! Please do not kill us." "Smart choice," Mi Young said. She ordered her team to secure the ship. Within 20 minutes, they had control. The same thing was happening on 5 other Council vessels. In the main battle, pilot Haiwan spotted Vorthen's flagship. It was bigger than the other ships, with heavier weapons and stronger shields. "All fighters on me. We are taking down that flagship." "It is too well defended," her wingman said. "We will never get through. Watch me," Haiwan said. She pushed her fighter to maximum speed and dove straight at the flagship. Enemy fire filled the space around her. Her shields took hit after hit. But she kept going. At the last second, she launched all her missiles at once and pulled up hard. The missiles struck the flagship's bridge. The explosion was massive. The entire front section of the ship was destroyed. Admiral Vorthen died instantly. With their commander gone, the Council fleet broke apart. Ships fled in every direction. Some tried to fight. Most just ran. Jinho let them go. "Do not pursue. We have won. Let them tell the Council what happened here." The Battle of Earth's orbit was over. It had lasted 2 hours. The Council lost 68 ships destroyed and 34 captured. They had another 53 ships damaged and fleeing. The humans lost only 11 ships. Back on the Council station, Director Vexthar received the reports. He could not believe what he was reading. 200 ships defeated by primitives? Impossible. But the sensor logs did not lie. The recorded battles did not lie. "How did this happen?" he demanded. "Vorthen was our best admiral. He had overwhelming force." An advisor spoke carefully. "The humans had technology we did not expect. Their ships were invisible to our sensors. Their weapons bypassed our shields. And their soldiers fought with a ferocity we have never encountered." Another advisor pulled up Dr. Taymin's leaked biology reports. "It is worse than we thought. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. They are stronger, faster, and tougher than any of us. We created the Deathworld classification, but we never truly understood what it meant." Vexthar was quiet for a long moment. Then he made a decision. "Classify humanity as a Class 1 threat. Authorize the formation of a grand fleet. 2,000 ships. We will not make the same mistake twice." 2,000 ships will take months to assemble," someone said. "Then we have months to prepare," Vexthar replied. "And this time we will not underestimate them." On Earth, celebrations erupted. Humanity had won its first victory. They had proved they could fight. They had proved they deserved respect. But Admiral Dongjun did not celebrate. He knew this was only the beginning. The Council would come again, and next time they would bring everything they had. Captain Hyunwoo met with him in private. "We cannot fight the entire galaxy." "No," Dongjun agreed. "But we do not have to. The Council is not united. Some species are our enemies. Some are neutral. And some," he pulled out a secret message, "some want to help us. We just need to find them." The secret message was from the unknown ally who had been contacting Ambassador Yuna. It said simply, "Well done. Now comes the hard part. Trust no one but us. More instructions will follow." The war had begun, and humanity was going to win it one way or another. 1 year into the war, everything had changed. Humanity was no longer trapped in their solar system. They had captured 12 Council colony worlds and formed alliances with 6 alien species who were tired of Council tyranny. General Sung Ho now commanded all human military forces. He was older than most soldiers, with gray hair and scars from old battles on Earth, but his mind was sharp, and his strategies were brilliant. He stood in the war room looking at a map of the galaxy. Red marks showed Council territory. Blue marks showed human-controlled space. Yellow marks showed neutral or allied species. "We are winning," he said, but slowly. Too slowly. Captain Hyunwoo, now promoted to Admiral, agreed. "The Council has more ships, more worlds, more resources. Every battle we win costs us ships we cannot easily replace. Then we need to change how we fight," Sung Ho said. He pointed to a system deep in Council space. "This is Kepler 442, our first colony outside the Sol system. The Council will attack it soon. When they do, we will teach them another lesson." 3 weeks later, a Council fleet of 400 ships arrived at Kepler 442. They expected an easy victory. The human colony was new and lightly defended. They were wrong. Commander Jin Ho had spent months preparing the system. He had positioned thousands of asteroids in carefully calculated orbits. When the Council fleet entered the system, he activated the plan. "Fire all mass drivers," he ordered. Across the asteroid belt, hidden machines activated. They were simple devices, really. They just pushed rocks, but those rocks had been accelerated to incredible speeds, and there were thousands of them. The Council fleet detected the incoming asteroids too late. The rocks hit like bombs. Ships exploded. Shields failed. Armor crumpled. In 10 minutes, the Council lost over 100 ships to chunks of ice and stone. "Retreat! Retreat!" the Council commander screamed. "No retreat," Jin Ho said coldly. His warships emerged from hiding spots throughout the system. The remaining Council ships were trapped between the asteroids and the human fleet. Very few escaped, but not every battle went so well. At the colony of New Hope, human defenders fought for 6 days against overwhelming numbers. They lost. The Council bombarded the colony from orbit. 8,000 colonists died. When the news reached Earth, President Jae-sung addressed the nation. "We are paying a terrible price for our freedom, but we will not surrender. We will not submit. Every life lost makes us more determined to win." Meanwhile, Agent Yoon-ji was deep behind enemy lines. She was a spy, trained in infiltration and intelligence gathering. She had spent 6 months getting false identity papers and learning to speak the Kragnath language perfectly. Now she walked the streets of the Kragnath homeworld, pretending to be a servant. Her skin had been temporarily altered with chemicals to look more like theirs. Her movements copied their body language. No one looked at her twice. She had a mission: find out what the Council was hiding. The mysterious ally who had been helping humanity insisted there were secrets that could end the war. Secrets that would turn the galaxy against the Council. It took 3 weeks, but Yoon-ji found what she was looking for: a hidden data center beneath the Council's central archive. She broke in at night, using tools that made no sound and left no trace. The security was good, but human hackers had become very skilled at breaking alien systems. What she found made her blood run cold. Files. Thousands of files. Records of species that had tried to join the Council over the past 1,000 years. Species that had been too independent, too strong, or too unwilling to submit. The Council had not just rejected them. The Council had destroyed them. Biological weapons that wiped out entire populations. Asteroid strikes that cracked planets. Covert operations that started civil wars. Dozens of species had been exterminated and the galaxy never knew. But there was more. Files on species that were currently being managed. Genetic modifications forced on populations to make them weaker and more docile. Mind control drugs in food supplies. Sterilization programs disguised as medical care. Yoon-ji copied everything and sent it through quantum communication to Earth. Then she erased her tracks and disappeared into the night. 3 days later, she was off the planet and heading home. President Jae-sung received the files and knew what had to be done. Release it, all of it. Let the galaxy see what their Council really is. The information was broadcast on every frequency, sent to every world, translated into every language. The reaction was immediate and explosive. Protests erupted on council worlds. Member species demanded explanations. The council's leaders denied everything, but the evidence was undeniable. 23 species announced they would leave the council unless major reforms were made. 6 species declared their support for humanity. The galaxy was fracturing, but the council's hardliners refused to back down. Warlord Threxian, a military dictator from the Morthak species, took command of the council's forces. "We will crush this rebellion," he declared. "We will destroy Earth and anyone who supports them." He began assembling the largest fleet in galactic history, 5,000 warships. It would take months to gather them all, but when they were ready, they would be unstoppable. General Sung Ho received intelligence about the fleet. 5,000 ships, he said quietly. "We have maybe 800. "We cannot win," Admiral Hyunwoo said. "Not against those numbers." "Maybe not in open battle," Sung Ho agreed. "But we do not fight fair. We never have." He called a meeting with his top scientists, including Dr. Taemin. "Doctor, you said you were working on something, a weapon that could change everything. Is it ready?" Taemin looked nervous. "Theoretically, yes. But we have never tested it at this scale. If it fails, we will have revealed our hand for nothing." "And if it works?" Sung Ho asked. "If it works," Taemin said slowly, "we can win, but the cost will be high, and the galaxy will never look at us the same way." Sung Ho nodded. "War always has a cost. Prepare the weapon. When Threxian brings his fleet to Earth, we will be ready." The council fleet began moving 6 weeks later. 5,000 ships from 30 different species, all united in one goal: destroy humanity once and for all. They traveled in a massive formation that stretched across space for thousands of kilometers. On Earth, people watched the approaching fleet with fear. Even those who believed in victory felt doubt now. How could 800 ships defeat 5,000? How could humanity survive this? But in the secret military headquarters, General Sung Ho was calm. "Everyone in position?" he asked. "All ships ready," Admiral Hyunwoo reported. "The weapon is armed," Dr. Taemin said. "Good," Sung Ho said. He thought about the 127 people who died on the Explorer. He thought about the colonists who died at New Hope. He thought about every human who had sacrificed everything for freedom. "For them," he said quietly. "We do this for them." The council fleet entered the Sol system 5 days later. Warlord Threxian stood on the bridge of his massive dreadnought. "This ends now," he said. "Prepare to fire all weapons. We will turn Earth into dust." But as his fleet moved past the orbit of Jupiter, something strange happened. The space around them began to shimmer and twist. Reality itself seemed to bend. "What is happening?" Threxian demanded. "Report!" His sensors officer looked confused. "I do not know. It is like space itself is breaking apart." Dr. Taemin's weapon activated. The quantum disruption network. Dozens of satellites positioned throughout the solar system created localized distortions in spacetime. Not enough to damage ships, but enough to disrupt all sensors, all communications, all coordination. The council fleet suddenly found themselves blind, deaf, and lost. Ships could not talk to each other. Sensors showed gibberish. Navigation systems failed. 5,000 ships became 5,000 confused, isolated targets. "Now," General Sung Ho ordered. "Attack!" The human fleet emerged from hiding. Every ship knew exactly where to go and what to do. They had planned this for weeks. While the council fleet floundered in chaos, humans struck with precision. Commander Jin Ho's ships appeared among the enemy formation. They fired at point-blank range and vanished. Colonel Mi Young's Marines boarded confused enemy vessels. Pilot Haewon's squadron destroyed command ships before they could organize. The Battle of Sol had begun. And this time humanity held all the advantages. Warlord Threxian could only watch in horror as his grand fleet was torn apart by an enemy he could not see, could not track, and could not fight. The war would be decided here, in the space above Earth, and the galaxy was watching. The Battle of Sol raged for 6 hours. The quantum disruption network kept the council fleet in chaos while human forces struck again and again. But Warlord Threxian was not a fool. He was a warrior who had survived hundreds of battles. "Shut down all computer systems," he ordered. "Go to manual control. Use visual targeting only." His crew looked at him like he was insane. Fighting without computers, without sensors? That was primitive. But Threxian understood. If the humans could disrupt technology, Then technology was a weakness. Do it now. Slowly, the council ships began to adapt. They formed up visually, following the ships they could actually see. They fired at human vessels when they got close enough. The chaos began to lessen. The battle became more even. General Sung-Ho watched from Earth's command center. They are adapting. Taemin, can we increase the disruption? Dr. Taemin shook his head. We are at maximum. The network is already overheating. We can maintain it for maybe 3 more hours. Then we finish this in 3 hours, Sung-Ho said. He opened a channel to all human forces. All ships, maximum effort. We end this today. In space, Commander Jin-Ho received the order. His stealth ships had been harassing the enemy all day. Now it was time for a direct assault. All vessels target the Dreadnought. That is Threxian's flagship. Kill it, and their command structure falls apart. 50 human warships converged on the massive Dreadnought. It was 3 times larger than any human vessel, covered in armor and bristling with weapons. Taking it down would not be easy. Pilot Haewon led the fighter attack. Follow my lead. We go for the engines. Her squadron dove through intense fire. 3 fighters exploded before they got close. Haewon's shields failed, but she kept going. She launched every missile she had at the Dreadnought's main engine. The explosions ripped through the giant ship's rear section. The Dreadnought slowed and began to list. Jin-Ho saw his chance. All ships focus fire on that engine damage. Tear it open. Railguns hammered the wound in the Dreadnought's armor. Metal tore. Systems exploded. The great ship was dying, but it was not dead yet. That was when Colonel Mi-young made her move. Boarding teams launch. Her Marines flew across space in armored pods. They crashed into the Dreadnought's damaged section and poured inside. This time, they were not just capturing a ship. They were hunting Threxian himself. The fighting inside was brutal. Council soldiers had set up defensive positions throughout the ship. They fought desperately, knowing that surrender meant the end of their way of life. But human Marines fought with purpose, training, and raw physical superiority. Mi-young led her team through corridor after corridor. They used grenades to clear strong points. They used their armor's strength to break through barricades. Slowly, they pushed toward the bridge. Threxian heard them coming. He was a warrior at heart, not just a commander. He picked up his personal weapon and waited. When Mi-young's team breached the bridge, he was ready. The fight was short but intense. Threxian was strong and skilled. But Mi-young had trained her entire life for combat. She dodged his strikes, blocked his attacks, and finally drove her blade through his armor. The great warlord fell. Bridge secured, Mi-young reported. Threxian is dead. With their leader gone, the council fleet broke. Some ships tried to keep fighting. Most tried to flee. But they were deep in human-controlled space. Their sensors still disrupted, their communications still jammed. They had nowhere to go. Admiral Hyunwoo made the call. All council ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo of Earth. You have fought bravely, but your cause is lost. Surrender now, and you will be treated with honor. Continue fighting, and you will die. Choose. One by one, council ships lowered their shields and shut down their weapons. After 6 hours of battle, the greatest fleet in galactic history had surrendered to the species they called primitives. The casualties were staggering. The Council lost over 3,000 ships. Humanity lost 200. But those 200 ships represented friends, family, and fellow humans. General Sung-Ho read the casualty reports and felt each loss like a knife to his heart. Was it worth it? Dr. Taemin asked quietly. Ask me in 10 years, Sung-Ho replied. If we build something better, then yes. If we just become the new tyrants, then no. The war officially ended 3 weeks later. With their fleet destroyed and their leadership dead, the Council had no choice but to negotiate. Ambassador Yuna returned to Nexus Prime, but this time she was not a supplicant. She was the representative of the galaxy's most powerful military force. The old council chamber was packed. Species that had not spoken to each other in centuries were forced to sit together. Fear, anger, and hope mixed in the air. President Jae-sung addressed them all via hologram. For too long, the galaxy has been ruled by fear. Fear of the different, fear of the strong, fear of change. That ends today. We propose a new system, the Galactic Union. Every species has equal representation. Every species has equal rights. Technology and resources are shared. Military aggression is banned. Disputes are resolved through law, not war. Director Vexthar, one of the few old council leaders still alive, spoke up. And if we refuse, Will you conquer us as you claim we conquered others? Jae-sung shook his head. We will leave you alone. But you will be alone. Those who join the Union will trade only with other Union members. You will have access only to the space you currently control. We will not attack you, but we will not help you either. The galaxy is moving forward. You can come with us or stay in the past. The vote took 2 days. In the end, 41 species joined the Union. 6 refused and kept to their own territory. It was not perfect, but it was a start. The former council leaders faced trial for their crimes. The evidence Agent Yoonji had gathered was overwhelming. Some were executed, some were imprisoned. A few who had tried to reform from within were pardoned. Justice was served, though it could never bring back the millions who had died. 10 years passed. The galaxy changed in ways no one could have predicted. Nexus Prime remained the capital, but it was expanded to accommodate representatives from every species. The old hierarchy was gone. All voices were heard. Human culture spread rapidly. Aliens discovered human music, human art, human literature. They were fascinated by the diversity of Earth. One planet with thousands of languages, cultures, and beliefs, all learning to coexist. It gave hope that different species could do the same. Mixed crews became common on exploration ships. Humans worked alongside aliens, learning from each other. Captain Hyun-woo, now retired from the military, commanded one such ship. They explored unknown space, discovering new worlds and new species. Every new civilization they found was invited to join the Union as equals. Dr. Tae-min founded the Academy of Innovation, teaching aliens how humans approached problems. Not with rigid rules, but with creativity and adaptation. The Academy became the most prestigious school in the galaxy. Engineer Bora and scientist So-jin continued their work. Their inventions benefited everyone. Faster ships, better medicine, cleaner energy, technology that improved lives rather than controlled them. Colonel Mi-young trained the Union's peacekeeping forces. Her methods were tough but fair. She taught that strength was for protecting others, not dominating them. Her graduates became the most respected soldiers in the galaxy. Commander Jin-ho became an admiral and helped design the Union's defense strategy. Not for conquest, but for protection. The Union would never attack first, but anyone who threatened its members would face overwhelming force. Admiral Dong-jun had retired shortly after the war. He spent his final years writing his memoirs, warning future generations about the dangers of both tyranny and revenge. His book became required reading in every military academy. Ambassador Yuna became the first Secretary General of the Galactic Union. She worked tirelessly to bridge differences, resolve conflicts, and ensure every species had a voice. She was not perfect, but she was honest, and that meant everything. The monument to the 127 crew members of the Explorer stood in the center of United Earth City. It was a simple design, 127 pillars of light reaching toward the stars. Representatives from every Union species came to the dedication ceremony. Yuna gave the speech. She was older now, her hair gray, her face lined with years of hard work, but her voice was still strong. These 127 people died because they were feared. They died because powerful beings saw them as threats rather than as fellow travelers in this universe. We fought a war to make sure that never happens again. She paused, looking at the crowd. Humans stood next to beings who had once been their enemies. We did not fight for conquest. We fought for the simple idea that all thinking beings deserve dignity, respect, and freedom. We proved that strength without compassion is tyranny. We proved that the strong must protect the weak, not exploit them. The crowd was silent. Above them, hundreds of ships from dozens of species filled the sky. All of them here to honor the dead and celebrate the future. The age of fear is over, Yuna said. The age of unity has begun. We are not perfect. We still disagree. We still struggle. But we do it together as equals. That is what they died for. That is what we built. And that is what we must protect always. The ceremony ended with a moment of silence. Humans and aliens bowed their heads together, remembering the cost of freedom. Later that night, Yuna stood alone looking at the stars. General Sung-ho joined her. He was very old now,